This is the answer key to 8.2 workbook, and this is our page. Let's see what page number is. This page 225 in our workbook. There are really only about 7 questions, so we'll dig in and fast forward, rewind as needed in order to go over these particular problems. So your copy should have should have a line on there that's the X and Y axes, right? Like this. This would be my Y axis, and my X axis would look something like this. Okay, and so my job is to graph each of these. And so I graph the first one by going -5 and then comma 5. And so you're going to go -5, which means go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in the negative direction, the negative X direction, because remember, this is my X and this is my Y variable. And so as I'm right here, I'm kind of hovering or hanging out in that spot. And then I go up 5 because this is positive. In this direction, I go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? So I'm hanging out right here and I go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and I make a point right there. That particular point, I'm going to label it A. All right. And I do that repeatedly with the other ones as well. It's just really good practice because we're going to be graphing lots of stuff in the future. So it's just a really good idea to get some graphing practice in. And so we're going to go with B, and we're going to go -2. So this one will be X comma Y again. And so -2 will be right here, 1, 2, and then I go +5. And so it should be right there. And this is B. All right. Next one is C. And it's on all of these, it's asking us, is this congruent to this? The way that my terminology would look is, I would say, is this congruent? And it takes a little practice to write that symbol above the equal sign. So anytime you see this, it's actually asking, is it the same shape with the exact same length? And by shape, I mean, in this case, it's a line segment. And so are they the exact same measurement? So in this case, we would say, is AB going to be the same length as CD? And this means from point A to point B, is it the same distance as it is from C to D? So let's check it. Let's keep plotting. On this one, we have 2, -4. So I'm going to go over 2, 1, 2, and then -4. -4 is to go all the way down here, 1, 2, 3, and 4, and make a point right there. Okay, essentially I went over and down. So it's +2, -4, and we're going to label that C. Okay, and then the last one is D, and we're going to go -1, -4. So remember, I always go left and right first, then I go up and down. So from the origin, from the center, I'm going to go -1, and then I'm going to go down 4. So that would be down 1, 2, 3, and 4. And so that one is my point D. You know what I can do is I can actually connect these. So like this, I can connect these two. And like this, I can actually connect these two and say, this is a line segment from A to B. This is actually going to be 3 units long, so I could label that with a 3. And this is also going to be 1, 2, 3 units long. Label it with a 3, and we would say, as a part of our answer on this one, we would say yes, it is congruent. And we could make this statement, AB is congruent to CD. And you could make that little statement. Yes, it is, right? And so that's what you would do on all of these. It's some good graphing practice and making sure that we understand how to put on our coordinates and decide whether something is the same exact distance on the coordinate plane or not. So I'm going to go a little faster real quick on this one. 4, 0. So I'm going to go over 4. And 0 means I do not go up or down, and I just make a point right there. That'll be point A, right? 1, 2, 3, 4 on there, right? Okay, so this one's going to be 4, 3. So I'm going to go over 1, 2, 3, 4, and then up 3, 1, 2, 3. And so that looks like that'll be my B value. And technically, I know this will be a line segment that's connecting those two. This one's going to be -4, comma, -4. So this is my X direction. This is my Y direction. Remember, X is always horizontal, Y is always vertical. So I'm going to go -4 in this direction, 1, 2, 3, and 4. And then I'm going to go -4 here, and I make a point. So that one is C. And over here, I'm going to go -4, comma, 1, and -4, comma, 1 would be right there. -4, and then up +1. So that would be my D value. And I ask myself, are these the same length? This has a length of, looks like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And this one has a length of 3. Nope, not congruent. So this would be a no, not congruent. And so on this last one right over here, we would want our axes on there, right, like this. And we have our X and Y coordinates. This is X and this is Y in terms of our direction. -1, comma 5 would be right there. So I went -1, comma, +5. Okay, then I go 5, 5, 5, +5, positive would be right there. We could label these. This would be A and this would be B. And you could connect them. So technically it would be like there and there. A, B, and you could connect them. That would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 units is how much that would be. Okay, let's do these two right here. C and D are next. So let's put those on there. 1, comma 3 over 1 up 3. 1, 2, 3 is right there. And that would be our C point. And the D point would be over 1 down 3. Would be -1, 2, and 3. And we're just visually looking at this and saying, okay, is this going to be the same distance as that? And you can just count them up. This would be C and D, right? So with these two line segments on here, count them up, see how far it is. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Yeah, so this is a total of 6. That's a total of 6. If they are the same distance, then we say that they are congruent. They are the same, both line segments that are the exact same distance. And so right here we would say AB is congruent to CD, and we would write it right like this. And we would say yes. Yes, it is. All right, perfect. And okay, let's take a look at number 4, 5, and 6, and even 7. Let's take a look at each of these. So my line segment I have on here for number 4 is from V to U, and it asks us on all of these to find VW. All right, so it says right there, find VW. VW is this segment, so that's where my question mark would go. And technically, so what I'm doing is taking the total VU, and I would be subtracting the little piece WU in order to get VW. Okay, so I'm taking 31 minus 8. Really not too bad, right? So 31 minus 8, and I should get 23. All right. So the way I would write my answer is I would say that the VW, not with a little line above it, because technically what I'm saying is the distance from V to W is 23. And that would be my final answer on that one. Just a subtraction type problem. And same thing right here on number 5. If I'm finding VW, that's this piece right here. Then all I would do is I would take 18 minus 6. 18 minus 6 is 12. And so how I would label my final answers, I would say VW from V to W. Don't include the line segment notation, because this implies a measurement from V to W is 12 units. That'd be my answer there. Okay, where's VW located? Well, that's the full distance, right, on this one. So this entire distance right there, and I want to know that That's my unknown quantity. Well, you're just going to take 45 plus 30 because the two segments should add up to the total, and the total is the VW that you're looking for right there. So if you add these together, you would get 75. So the way we write our answer, VW, the distance from V to W is 75 units, and that's how we would write our answer. Let's look at this last one. This is a word problem in context, probably has something to do with a line segment. And it says right here, a bookstore and a movie theater are 6 kilometers apart. So you could kind of label them and say, well, about 6 kilometers apart. We could call it bookstore. We could call it movie theater if we wanted to. Drawing and sketching a little picture like this is great. They're on the same street. It's a straight line. A florist is located between the two, though, between the bookstore and the theater. Maybe you want to label this T for theater. Yeah, let's do that, since that seems to be the language they're using. Okay, so bookstore and theater, all right, is there. So the florist is actually 2.5 kilometers. This is 6 from here to here. You could use some arrows to emphasize from there to there, but the florist is not exactly halfway. The florist is actually going to be somewhere in the ballpark of like right there. Okay, let's call that F for florist. And it's 2.5 kilometers. Wait, the other direction, my bad. So here, let me erase this. Here, we'll just take that and put it over here. Oops. Okay, florist is located right there. We'll put an F on it. And this is actually going to be 2.5 kilometers right there then. And so it says, how far away is the florist from the bookstore? And you would do 6 minus 2.5. And you can see from our picture right here that we have 6 total, 2.5 from the theater. So this particular distance is what we're looking for right here from the bookstore to the florist, and we subtract. And so that should be equal to 3.5 kilometers. Use kilometers when that's what you know they're talking about. And so from B to F, possibly 3.5 is how you would maybe label that. All right. With that said, that concludes our answer key to 8-2 homework workbook page.